Hi everyone, today I have two things. First of them is a quick announcement and the second is an update on the renovation of our manufacturing space. As for the announcement, at the end of this month, June 2021, we are going to end manufacturing of our Zen Clock. There are a couple of reasons for this decision. The most important reason for me is that I want to free our time for other projects because we are working on the H-tube. It's very close to the actual production tube. We also struggle with, this is more like a rational decision, but we struggle with the supply chain, so not everything is so easily available as it was used to be before COVID. So we decided to limit the amount of products that we are making and focus on securing the parts for lower amount of products, because what we were used to have basically overnight, like today you order and the next day or in 2 days you have something, it's no longer valid in these times. It was a difficult decision because the Zen Clock is still like very important clock for us as for the sales. But sometimes you need to make a risk and hope that you will come up with another product that will be successful and replace the previous one. So altogether there was around 650 Zen Clocks made and delivered to customers. So I believe that we will end at a number around 700. As for the support for the Zen Clock, it's based on the same platform like our Pure clocks, so we'll continue developing the firmware and keep it up to date, not only for the Pure clocks but also for the Zen clocks. The Zen Clock was in production for 5 years, and during these 5 years we started with revision of the firmware 1.01 and now we are at 1.024, so there were 24 revisions of the firmware so far. The clocks that we want to focus on in the future are the Pure clocks. We have two versions, 6-tube version and 4-tube version. We are working on a clock with the H-tubes, so this will be really large piece, and I want to have the time and focus so we can actually work on this and make it really perfect, because it's so far looking very exciting. So that's for the Zen Clock announcement. If you want to have one, please make the order until end of this month, because at the end of this month we will removing the clock from the eShop on our website. It will stay in the projects and in the history part of the website, but it will not be available for purchase anymore. The orders that will be received until end of the month will be manufactured and delivered to customers until August or maybe September 2021. And another part of this video, I promised you the update from the manufacturing. So this is the main manufacturing room where we wash, assemble and finish the Nixie tubes. So let's start from the smaller room. Like both of these rooms got new epoxy paint on the floor and also new paint on the walls. We had bigger table, we made a small one because it's enough, and we put these two drying ovens on top of the dishwasher. It's more space efficient and easier to operate this way. Here are the ultrasonic cleaning tanks, and this is a vacuum oven for storing parts that cannot be at the ambient atmosphere. Here you can see some of our jigs for washing the parts. We try to be more and more efficient, so one by one we design jigs like these that enable us to speed up our work and cope with inflation. Okay, so this is the smaller room. Now let's go to the bigger one. Again, we removed a lot of equipment from here and made it easier for people to move the material and work. The glass slate, it has the same position. Here you can see a new fume hood. The previous ones were made from the general like fume extractors for cooking, but they were too loud to work under them because they were too and really noisy. So here we have one that is more. Does it work? Not yet. The new one is much less noisy and it doesn't bother you so much working under it. The pumping system remains the same. We just made some work on the cables, so they are now much more organized and easier to keep tidy, because in the other system they were lying on the ground and collecting dust, which is never good. And this is a table where we now assemble the Nixie tubes. In the past we were used to use laminar flow hood, but the interesting thing was that because it was stainless steel, it was cold in winter, and when you work on it for 8 hours a day, it was not nice. So we replaced it with a table, which is still easy to keep tidy. You can cover your parts in boxes so they don't collect dust, and it can be. It's not much better. Another advantage is that we have plenty of daylight here coming from two sides, and the daylight is much better for this fine work than was the artificial light we had in the laminar flow hood. Here you can see one of the 5S thing we came up so far. One of the 5S means standardization, and here we have a sample list of the back plates and the mica sheets. You can see here like what is good and what is not good, so that the person who is checking it is able to decide correctly what to reject and what to accept. There are more of these things here, and it's incredible how time consuming making of these things is, because we have altogether something like 100 individual procedures to make the tube. So if you want to make a sample list or manual like this for each of them, it takes a lot of time, but it's well invested time, because the reward is increase in quality, in consistency in the quality. Another 2 rooms. So this room used to be a machine shop, and right now we have here another manufacturing space. So here we have assembly of the clocks. Here you can see also the 5S symptoms, like well organized working place where you have all the tools by hand and you don't need to search for them every time you need them. Here is our mighty wire cutter. So again, with all the wires that we use and some tools so that you have them by hand when you need them. And this is the getter cutter, and here with some explanations for people when they are changing the stops for longer or shorter getters. Implotex compressor. This is so silent, it's unbelievable. This is our DIY press brake. It works perfectly. We use it to bend the metal plates like this to right angle, and other things like the grids and also the parts for the H-tube. It needs 2 hands to be operated. Just like I will show you. Works perfectly, but right now Radim is working on redesigning the jigs here that we use to position the parts, so I can't show you more, but it will flow. Boxes for our clocks. Wood is now really like high value commodity, so we need to stock the wooden boxes in higher quantity than we would normally need. This is the thing that came with COVID, so wood is quite rare these days. A welder with tubes. One of the 5S things is that we set up standards, or how to say, we set up a quantity that needs to be made every week. So for a week we have this box, and everyone knows how many parts he needs to do. And yeah, well, later I will talk about this. This was quite a difficult topic. And here another, and this is another room still under work. This is the test rack for blob clocks. We put them here for around 2 weeks, and if they keep the same time, if everything is correct with the tubes and other parameters, then we can pack them and ship them to customers. So this is a little bit crazy tool, like crazy blinking, flashing numbers. And here we have a vacuum tube oven if we need to extract vapors from some of the parts before assembly. We could work without it, but this tremendously speeds up the pumping times of the Nixie tubes, so we again save time and we become more productive with this thing. Okay, let's go to the workshop. The hallway is still messy. We still have a lot of things to trash after the renovation. This is our workshop for the dirty work, like welding. So this is a welding table. This table comes from Philips, and it was used as a pumping cart for CRT tubes. Yeah, this is it. So we used it for a welder. Here we have a table for grinding and cutting and all these things. We separate metals and parts, so we have like stainless steel, aluminum profiles, copper and brass parts. So again, like when you have something made of copper and you don't want to trash it, you can put it here and use it in a year or never. Here is a DC motor from our new lathe, glass lathe with a tilting bed. So it's still in this poor state before actually jumping on it and refurbishing it, because we don't need it yet. All the parts should eventually get their space in this rack somewhere in a box, so we are trying to sort them out, and like in a manner that everyone will know where to put the parts, and later when you are searching for something you will know where to find it. But it's still a lot of work, and the more clean space, more clean workshop or machine shop is here. If you want to work on something cleaner and you don't want to get it dusty and dirty, you can do it here. So we started already sorting our tools here. It's wonderful, really, when you have all the cutting tools here. Here are some drawings of the parts that we made in the recent weeks or months. Yeah, we usually make small jobs. I have here one ready, already prepared for the work for the next week. We need to take a KF flange, which is here, drill hole, and weld a VCR flange on it, so that I can use it like this way, so that I can use it for leak checking of parts with VCR flange on them. So this is a perfect example of what we do here, like not a complex job, but if you need to search for someone who does this for you, it like a small job will take a lot of time. Another shadow board. It's really good. I see that there is one screwdriver missing. Like making a home for a part like this takes you 3 minutes. And when you are cleaning the space, when you need to, you need to take the tools and put them somewhere. so you know exactly where to place them. It's like cleaning the space after your work is a matter of like 30 seconds or 1 minute. It's really, really productive. Here are our 3D printers. We abuse them really heavily, like we print all day long. Right now it's Sunday, so they are sitting, but since tomorrow they will be in constant use again. The remaining space is our lab. So this is becoming our chemical laboratory. Like there are now many more things, but it's already getting shapes. Like we have here the glassware, we have here a sink with deionized water and all the like cleaning things. Plasma cleaning setup. So here we will place a tube for plasma cleaning, but yeah, it's not yet completely working. We need to work on the connectors and some other stuff, and then hopefully it will fully work. We will experiment with the gases and pressures for the plasma cleaning. And here, this is the setup for the gas analysis. There was no progress made yet. I'm waiting for a controller for the turbo pump, which is being made by a friend of us, because the original controllers are not available at all or expensive, and they are not very reliable. This is another sample list of how to reject and what to accept from the stems. This is probably the most important one from all the work that we do, because the leakage problems that we had in the past were crazy, and in the last 2 years we hadn't had a reported leak by customer, which is unbelievable. It will be 2 years in the middle of June. Here we have parts for the H-tube prepared for the assembly. Tomorrow, Monday, I will start with assembly of the tubes. I have here another 5 tubes prepared for assembly. So here you can see the glass, the anode grids. Here are the anode cups behind them prepared. Here all the like insulators and individual parts. Here is the connecting wire prepared. We have 3 lengths of them, so it's already cut to length and uninsulated. Here are the digits in the bins prepared from the cleaning. And here you can see a jig for assembly of the tube, and as you can see, we started numbering everything what we do. Like we have all the parts, all the processes, all the tools and everything numbered, so that when you need to modify, when the people from the manufacturing come to you that they want to modify something on this, then you don't need to go through 600 different folders, but you already see which folder to search for. You can just enter the folder, load the 3D model and work on it. And here are I love this functionality on the Fusion 360. I can really easily generate the drawings from the 3D model, so I have here everything what I need for tomorrow assembly. Okay. And this room you already know is the electronics room. Now we need to do some revision of the organization here, because it's getting more and more messy. And this is wonderful thing. It's a streamline clock from Michael Beryl from bednixy.com. It was one of the clocks that persuaded me into starting our own production, because this is really beautifully made and beautifully designed piece. I still need to find a place for it, but I think I will put it into the office. The clock was designed for the original 568M tubes, so I would like to preserve them, and instead of using our tubes because they would fit, I would like to get 3 more of them and make the clock running. Okay, some work in progress. Here we have stencils for coating the PCBs with lacquer. Okay, some more work. This is a panel that will contain 100 bulbs. Each of them will represent one clock and they will indicate if the clock is connected or not. So I want to hang these panels on the walls in my lab so I can stay more connected with the clock. So I will have a number, so it will be like Zen number 1 and the bulb, Zen number 2 and the bulb, or a Puri number 3 and a bulb. So I'm looking forward to having these on the walls to stay more connected with our babies once they leave our production. Okay, it looks like that's all for today. I'm already working on some more videos. One of them will be on the cathode poisoning, so I want to get deeper in the problematics of the cathode poisoning, because I believe that if we fully understand the cathode poisoning, we can set up our processes in the manufacturing more efficient and more productive, because we will know what to avoid and what not to do and what to be careful about. And another one is the manufacturing video from the manufacturer of another revision of the H tubes, and hopefully there will be more videos, but there's not more time. Okay, thanks for watching and see you